Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this immersive slider animation in Figma using prototypes. If you enjoy learning Figma animations like this, make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to keep making more videos like this. Alright, without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. First, here we already have all the images we'll need. And these are the colors we're going to use for the overlays. So let's start by adding a frame. Change the background color to black. Now we'll bring all the images into the frame to create our background. Just drag the images into the frame and scale them up so they cover the entire frame. Now let's adjust their positions one by one. Once that's done, select all the background images except the Sukuna image and set their opacity to 0. Then select all the backgrounds and group them together. Now let's add a rectangle that covers the entire frame. Change its color to black, then reduce the opacity to around 75%. Let's also add a background blur to it. Once that's done, you can lock this rectangle so it doesn't move accidentally. Now we're going to add another rectangle that covers the whole frame. We're going to use this as an overlay. Change the color to red. Now switch the blend mode to color. Now create 4 duplicates of this overlay. For each one, change the color so we have different overlay colors. Let's just go through them one by one. Now select all the overlays and group them together. Once that's done, rename all of the rectangles so it's easier to manage later. Next, let's add a line to the frame. Change its color to white and reduce the opacity a bit. Create a duplicate of the line. Then group both lines together and lock the group. Also, select all the overlays except the red one and set their opacity to 0. Now let's add a navbar to the frame. Here are the font properties I'm using. Next, we'll create a glow effect in the background. To do that, add an ellipse to the frame and change its color to white. Then apply a layer blur. After that, change the blend mode to overlay and lower the opacity to around 90%. Now duplicate this ellipse and make the second one smaller. Also reduce its layer blur and lower its opacity a bit more. Alright, our background is ready. Now let's move on to creating the card. First, we need to create the base shape. Add a rectangle. Then add another small rectangle and place it like this. Select both shapes and subtract the small rectangle from the main one. Now click on the smaller shape to edit it. Double-click it, select the top left corner, and move it upward. Do the same for the bottom left corner. You can adjust the position until it looks right. Next, add a triangle and rotate it. Place it on the bottom right corner of the shape like this. Then select both shapes and subtract the triangle. And there we go. Our shape is ready. Now you can flatten the shape. Next, duplicate the shape. Remove the fill from the duplicate and add a stroke instead. We'll use this as the border of the main card. Now drag an image onto the canvas and place it over the shape. Select both the image and the shape, then mask the image with the shape. After masking, you can scale the image to adjust the position. Now select both shapes and align them properly, then convert them into a frame. Our card is ready. You can also add a border radius if you want slightly softer corners. Now create 4 more duplicates of this card. Select 4 of the cards and scale them down to 0.7x. Then change their images. The easiest way to do this is to copy the new image, select the image inside the card, and choose Paste to replace. Then adjust the image position. Repeat the same process for the other cards. If this video hits 7,000 views within a week, I'll share the full Figma file with you guys. So go ahead, like the video, drop a comment, and share it with your friends. Let's see if we can hit that goal. Once that's done, rename all the cards. Now we'll create duplicates of 3 cards that will appear in the first frame. I'll select these 3 cards. Also scale down this card to 0.7x. Then rename the duplicated cards so everything stays organized. Now let's place the cards into the main frame. First, place the Sukuna card in the center. Then add the Yuji card on the left side. And place the Gojo card on the right side. Now select the remaining cards and middle align them. Add them to the main frame, but make sure they're not nested inside another frame by mistake. Then move them to the right so they stay hidden for now. Next, let's add the text and buttons. Start by adding the character name. Let's quickly add the other names as well. Also create a duplicate of the name that will appear in the first frame. Now select all the names except the first one and middle align them like this, placing them below the first name. Then select all the names and convert them into a frame. Reduce the height of that frame and turn on Clip Content. This will hide the other names. Now we'll add the subtext. Here are the font settings I'm using. I've also renamed all the subtext to keep everything better organized. Follow the same process we used for the names. Also create a duplicate of the subtext that will appear in the first frame. Convert them into a frame and enable Clip Content. Now add both text frames into the main frame. Apply auto layout to it. Set the spacing to 16 pixels. Alright, now let's create the buttons. Start with a rectangle. Then add a triangle to the bottom right corner and another triangle to the top left corner. Select all the shapes and subtract the triangles from the rectangle. Flatten the shape. You can repeat the same process to create another button. Now add text to the first button. Select both the text and the shape and convert them into a group. Next, add an icon using a plugin. Also flatten this shape. Add a stroke to it. Change its fill color to black and lower the opacity to about 10%. Place the icon on the button and convert both into a group. Also add a background blur to the shape. Alright, both buttons are ready. Place them inside the main frame. Now create a duplicate of this button and flip it horizontally. Alright, our first frame is completely ready. Next, add some rulers so we can keep track of the positions. Now duplicate the first frame. In the second frame, move the left card further left so it goes outside the frame and becomes hidden. Then move the middle card to the left and scale it down to 0.7x. Also scale down the image inside it so the animation looks smoother. Now move the right card to the center. Using the scale tool, scale it up from the corner based on the ruler position, just like in the video. Also increase the image size inside it. Then bring the next card into the frame and place it on the right side. Then update the names. Select the current name and the next character name and move them upwards so the next name appears. Do the same thing for the subtext. Now update the background. Set the opacity of the current background to 0 and set the opacity of the next background to 100%. Do the same for the overlay colors. Set the current overlay to 0 and the next one to 100%. Alright, the second frame is done. Now duplicate the second frame. In this frame, we'll basically repeat the same process we used in the previous frame, but for the next character. Move the left card out of the frame. Move the middle card to the left and scale it down. Bring the right card to the center and scale it up. Then bring the next card into the frame and place it on the right side. Update the names subtext just like before. Now set the opacity of the current background to 0 and change the respective background to 100%. Do the same thing for the overlay colors. Set the current overlay to 0% opacity and the new overlay to 100%. And that's it. Now the third frame is ready. Now duplicate the third frame. From here, you can simply repeat the same process for the remaining characters. I'll just speed this part up. If this video hits 7,000 views within a week, I'll share the full Figma file with you guys. So go ahead, like the video, drop a comment, and share it with your friends. Let's see if we can hit that goal. Now create a duplicate of the last frame. Now we need this frame to match the first frame exactly, so the animation loops smoothly. First, move the left card outside the frame. Now check the card names and delete them completely. Turn off clip content temporarily so you can see the next card name. Then delete it as well. After that, turn clip content back on. Now go back to the first frame and copy the 3 cards that are visible there. Return to the current frame and paste them here simply using Ctrl+V. Make sure to rename the cards exactly the same as before. Next, adjust the background settings. Set the opacity of the current background to 0% and set the respective background to 100%. Do the same thing for the overlay color. Change it to the correct color for this frame, just like we did in the previous frames. After that, update the character name and the subtext to match this card. And that's it. Now this frame perfectly matches the first frame, which will help the animation loop smoothly. Next, we'll create the intro animation frames. Go back to the first frame and create a duplicate of it backward. In that frame, move the navbar upward so it disappears. Then move all the text and buttons downward so they're hidden. Also reduce the height of the lines. Now duplicate the frame again. In this frame, scale down the middle card image and move the card upward so it'll get hidden. Next, move the left card further left and the right card further right so they disappear. Also set the background opacity to 0. Alright, now all the frames are ready. Finally, let's add the prototypes to the frames. Let's start by connecting the first frame to the second. Set the trigger to after delay and keep the delay at 150 milliseconds. For the animation, choose Smart Animate. Choose Custom Bezier for the easing, and you can use this value. And set the duration to 1500 milliseconds. Next, connect the second frame to the third frame with an after delay trigger again. Set the delay to 1 millisecond and keep the rest of the settings the same. From the third frame, we'll add interactions for the buttons. Connect the third frame to the fourth frame using the on-click trigger on the button. Keep the same animation settings. Then connect the fourth frame back to the third frame using the same on-click trigger. Continue connecting the rest of the frames in the same way until we reach the last frame. Finally, connect the last frame back to the identical frame, which is the third frame. Set the trigger to after delay, set the delay to 1 millisecond, and change the animation type to instant. Alright, everything is set up. Let's give it a quick test. Perfect. Everything is working smoothly. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video and leave a comment. It really helps and keeps me motivated to create more content like this. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.